still have a French recording coming up for you guys all. So now I've hit record on my end for English, and I'm sure that's happening for French. If I see it, perfect. So we've got 3 parts today, and we're right here on the hour for our program. And the first and the main topic today is about impact. And I think all 3 parts of our program actually are going to be about impact today as well. First, we'll do my session. I'm going to cover a few topics, a few examples, and the best part about it is as we walk through each section of my presentation, you're going to have the opportunity to create your impact plan. So how we're going to do that is there's going to be a simple Google folder, a Google form. So at some point we'll share the Google form and the link, and you'll be able to fill out the Google form. As you complete the Google form by the end of my presentation, it's going to email all the responses to you, and you can use it kind of as a basis to get your impact plan started. So it's pretty exciting. So everybody who fills out that form will have an impact plan today. So if you're able to maybe get an extra phone or be on your laptop, we will have a Google form coming up later today. The second part of our presentation is going to be super exciting. We have special guest presenters, Teiko Nalapo from out of Nepal, and Gilbert Muvun. Let me try this again, Gilbert. Just give me 1 second to stare at it. Muvun Nankiko, who has been a great yes, exactly. I know. I always just say Gilbert, but Gilbert's been an amazing colleague of ours, and he has actually launched together with a huge team the AFR 100 new website. We thought this would be a great time to show it to you because it's, obviously we are all a part of helping the African countries complete their goals to restore land. So this website has a lot of techniques of showing impact. So we wanted to show the website so you can familiarize yourself with it and also see this as a great example of impact for yourself as well. And then we'll finish the last part of our 2-hour session today with a presentation of our phase 2 application. So we'll go over some of the procedures, some of the questions that we've been seeing in the WhatsApp group, and we'll also have time for question and answer there too. So thank you guys so much. And let's see if I can start to share my screen and get this started. Let me see. Well, share screen. And here it comes. And let's see if I can do full screen. This should be full screen now. Perfect. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Today, we're talking about what is impact. Impact is a change in an outcome caused by an organization, such as your company's. Impact can actually be positive, negative, intended, or unintended. And so this presentation today will have a lot of details and information. When you get this PowerPoint presentation, you'll be able to click into all of these hyperlinks to learn more. So just a quick poll. If everybody can go into the chat box, I'm looking for you to type in the letter A or the letter B. I'm selling chairs. My store is a store. You guys are coming in looking for patio furniture because you want to celebrate your birthday. And I've got 2 options here. I see people have started to write in a few. Which option would you buy? Would you buy the chair for $400 or the chair for $700? I've seen a lot of people putting A in here. I saw somebody with a B. Jean-Pierre is with the B. a lot of A's. Thank you guys so much. And as we go here, if this is all you know about the chairs, they look the same. It seems like you might want to buy the cheaper one. But what we want to say is that what if you knew the story behind the chair? What if you knew that in general, the chairs were produced using, really bad labor conditions? You can see this poor elephant. Let's just imagine an elephant doesn't like his job. He's deforesting the place. Or you can know the story behind the chair is that it comes from reclaimed pasture land that was probably deforested, in this case 50 years ago, and the people have been reclaiming it by growing trees on this land, and they use fair labor practices. In this case, you might choose to save your money and spend more. This happens a lot in many different sectors. In the sector that we're in, is your food grown organically? Is it healthier for me as a consumer? Is it healthier for the consumers? Is it healthier for the planet? And so if you're creating a better product, I think the point is that you need to let people know, because maybe your product is more expensive, or maybe it's slower, or maybe there's something about it, or maybe it's just better, but people need to know that. It's our job to tell them. So that's what this presentation is about today, is differentiating yourself because of the impact that your businesses do have. Some of you might do it already, but this presentation is going to take you through a lot of different considerations, and you might come up with an innovation. Again, we're always thinking about innovations that you can change, an innovation that might end up making your business stronger. So again, wanted to talk about the importance of your before and after. A lot of times you might see on our Land Accelerator application, on the different forms that we have, we ask you, what was the land like before? Maybe it's because if you just see the last picture where the person's teeth are all beautiful, you'll be like, okay, that guy has nice teeth. Okay, that's a really beautiful landscape. But if people understand where you come from, then they're going to understand how much work you went into it. So that's the point of this scary slide, is to show the work. Bringing that back to landscapes. Again, the last picture is after the landscape has been reforested and had some time to grow. And so excuse me for that this picture is blurry, but the top two pictures show what it was like in the process. So whether that process for you of before and after is through storytelling, is through statistics, is through pictures, then that's something that you want to be sure to do. Again, a few more pictures of landscapes that have been restored, just for some inspiration. Again, now getting back to some footprints, 5 dimensions of impact. What has changed? Who has it changed for? How much? What has the contribution of your impact been? And is there any risk that the impact might have? So just keep those in mind. Let's continue on. Again, these slides you can refer back to as you're determining what kinds of impacts you're going to keep track of. What outcome is the enterprise contributing to? Is it positive or negative? And how important is the outcome to stakeholders experiencing it? So a few examples that I know just from some of you guys being here is that a lot of your companies actually help farmers earn more money. So that's probably a very important income, and you probably talk about it in different ways. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs here on this call help the farmers in their supply chain save money by lowering their cost of inputs, or by increasing their quality and quantity of produce, or perhaps you are able to pay a higher price because of the processing that you're doing. Either way, these are impacts, and there's something you can talk about. Who, of course, want to describe the same thing, which stakeholders are experiencing the outcome. So in your companies, you probably have consumers, you have people you're selling to, but you might also have people you're buying from. You might be affecting the entire stakeholders. So it's good to keep track of that. Whom do the enterprises affect, and how underserved are these people in relation to the outcome delivered by the enterprises? Some people on this call are working with, and I know this is a fact, with some of the most underserved populations in the world. You might be working in some of the most remote places in Africa and giving them chances, so these kind of stories are going to be important. So just want to highlight that to you, because this is your everyday work, but for other people who are purchasing from you, it's really unique. How much? So again, getting to the quantities, how many people, what degree of change, so can you interview them and figure out, well, how much were they making per week or per month before they worked with you? How much are they making now? Just to go forward with the income example. And how long do they make that outcome? Are they able to earn more money 6 weeks out of the year, or the entire 52 weeks out of the year? So again, scale, depth, and duration. These are just check marks you can use along the way. Contribution, again, did the enterprise's activities contribute to the outcome achieved? And what would have been the outcome in the absence of these enterprises? I think that's really key. So for instance, if just to go to a company that we've seen in one of our peer sessions, the Acacia EPZ that works with tapping natural gum arabic from acacia trees in northern Kenya. What would have happened if the enterprise wouldn't have been there? People probably would just be living the way they did. They wouldn't have the additional income from the gum arabic, and they also wouldn't have the additional food that Acacia EPZ is able to bring to the communities, because they come with empty trucks, but they've learned to fill those trucks with food and supply the general stores. And then they take all the gum arabic and bring it back to the places where it can be exported. So there are outcomes. What wouldn't happen? And these kind of questions, you can answer them as much as makes sense to you for your business in a Word document, in a simple Word document with bullets. And then you can get ready to display your company, to display your impact later. We'll go over how to display it again. And risk. Is there risk with your company? Is there a likelihood that the impact is different than expected? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Is there a risk that the difference will be very large from the perspective of the planet or the people who experience the impact? And there's so many different kinds of risks here that you can just start to be aware of and think, does this apply to you? Evidence risk. So can I prove that this is happening? External risk. Are there things that are happening that I can't control? Stakeholder participation risk. We talked about this in previous sessions. An example of this, which is, will my farmers in my smallholder network share to me, provide, sell to me? I need them to sell to me in order that I can process it. It's a risk that they don't. So these are all different risks, and you can go through them and see if you can improve the risks in ways or another. And again, we talked a little bit about that in our supply chain session last week. All right, so we talked a little bit about, why you might want to measure impact. And now we might talk about identifying what you should measure as well. Why? Impact is at the heart of what you do. It defines your core values. It creates transparency in the market, differentiates your company as eco-friendly as compared to regular companies that don't really protect the environment at all. And it might also help you get impact investment. I wonder if anyone can put in the chat box, if you'd like, a few reasons why impact is important to your company. If you're able to, we'll just watch the chat for a second. I know this came out of nowhere, but if anybody can write, what is a reason that you guys are interested or that you already are putting impact? Falk says the whole entire purpose is impact. Yvonne says to improve their performance and record their lessons learned. Gabi says we want to get those KPIs out there. So if we are caring about impact, again, important thing is to look at the baseline. If you don't make your baseline, and maybe you can make your baseline today, or maybe you remember where your baseline was because you started not too long ago. But if you can memorialize your baseline, it's key, because people can quickly forget where you came from. Not only people, yourself. You might forget where things were because you're so worried about moving forward. But we need to memorialize where you started and show progress. How can you create a baseline? Oops, I went backwards. You can create, hold on, sorry. You can create a baseline by identifying those KPIs, like Matthews is saying, those key performance indicators, and seeing what they are now, or if you can reverse research, figuring out where people were before. It's a type of measure used to evaluate the performance of your organization against its strategic objectives. Again, some of the strategic objectives you guys have might be to restore landscapes, to improve biodiversity, to improve income and crop diversity for the farmers in your network. So you can help cut the complexity by only selecting a few indicators. There are thousands of things you can measure. Which ones are the most important to you and able for you to do? So this is where we're going to start to look at a broad variety of KPIs. And soon you're going to think which ones are most applicable to you. We've got different categories of key performance indicators, ranging from environmental, social economic. So that might be how well financially your stakeholders are doing. Financial, that could be your actual company's key performance indicators. Again, that could be your profit margin. It could be your total profit. It could be your total revenue. And we also have business process KPIs. And so we're going to have like a large list of each of these. I will not go through all of them on the session because you're going to be able to refer back to this. And you're also going to have access to these long lists once we get to the survey where you're going to create your own KPI. So again, starting first with the environmental KPIs, we're looking at, are your companies doing interventions that affect afforestation or that have an impact in reducing carbon or reducing water consumption or improving the watersheds, reducing waste? All of these with the green bullets are things that your companies might be causing, impacts your companies might be causing. Over here on the yellow box are different KPIs that might be relevant to you, that you might be able to measure year by year or month by month. Again, the time is important. And again, you can see that having a starting point is important and having a current point. So for instance, if you're looking at the change in soil carbon, well, you want to know what the soil carbon was before. If you're looking at improvement in soil nutrients, you want to know what the soil was before. If you're looking at the yield that is coming per hectare, you need to know how much people were producing before your impact. So check out that and think about getting the impact before or after. If you cannot do before and after, you can take a look maybe at your farms and your farmers and compare them with the conventional farmers. So the farmers who are doing what is regular, normal, what has been done for generations. So that's another way that you can show your impact, is comparing the people in your program with the regular people who aren't maybe doing these interventions that your company is bringing along. So let's go to the next slide and see some more examples of KPIs. I hope you can read these while I'm chatting. But again, tons of KPIs here, potential key performance indicators on the social economic impact of your business. Well, we're talking about how many jobs are you creating for your community? What's the percentage of women employed? What's the percentage of youth employed? If you have other underserved populations, some people might even be working with veterans, some people might be working with blind population, any kind of underserved population, you probably want to talk about it. Income growth, skills that people in your network are having, upskilling, money saved. So these are all examples of different social economic KPIs, and you can think if any of them are relevant to your business or not. Again, going towards the next kind of KPIs, financial key performance indicators. Again, these are things that might show up in your annual audited statements. Your financial statements will probably have plenty of key performance indicators you can choose from. You might want to select the ones that are important to your stakeholders to know about. It could be your revenues, it could be your total expenses, the number of villages you have in a network, the number of clients you have. Financial transparency can be something. Some companies really want to be transparent with how much money they're paying to their providers, how much money they're paying to their workers. So you can be as transparent as you'd like, and transparency can build trust. A lot of impact is about building trust. The next thing we've got are, I think this just says KPIs, but I think this is business process KPIs. So you can think about, have you gotten any intellectual property? Have you been able to expand your geography? Have you done something with sales and marketing that's really worked? So it's keeping track of your processes and seeing if you have achieved certain things that you want to do. Have you created a strategic partnership that you were looking to do? So this can also be about goal setting and achieving your goals as well. And I do want to acknowledge I'm seeing some really cool questions in the chat box here. And I want to just take the second to look at John James' question because I saw it come up right now. The tree planting is not a part of their business. Do we still include it as a key performance indicator? So John, I don't know if you'd like to come on mute, but I've got a question for you on that. So how do you actually fund your tree planting? Because of course trees cost money and you need to also somehow collaborate with people in order to get the trees into the ground. So how do you do that? And what is your business model? Thank you, John. I think you might have unmuted yourself.
Yes. Well, part of what we do in we deal with the plant that's on the CITES list, and part of our agreement with the government is to plant trees. And we would be doing that anyway, but it's not something that's part of our business per se. So I'm trying, the way you phrase things, it sounded like the KPIs were only relative to your actual business,
Okay.
your core business, instead of all the things your business does.
Okay. What is your core business, if we can ask?
We cultivate, grow, and produce and export. Sorry, somebody keeps trying to call me.
Yeah, of course.
A type of aloe that only grows in Madagascar. So we produce and export that powder.
I think that even if you think it's not a part of your business model, perhaps it is in a certain way. So it might not be the thing that's earning you money, but I think, you have a partnership with the government, right? So
yes. Yes.
So it seems like you could still, you can tell a story around it. And so that's the thing where it's like sometimes KPIs are numbers and sometimes it's numbers plus stories plus pictures. I think that's going to be the strongest. But, in this case, it sounds like, and a lot of other companies that I've seen throughout the years in the Land Accelerator have what they call, and this might be different for you, but bio corridors, where they might be really working to improve productivity of the farmland on most part of the land. And they're doing that in a sustainable way. So for instance, I hear that when I hear you talking about indigenous, perhaps even endemic species of aloe, that sounds like it's going to be, pretty restorative, pretty low impact as far as a low negative impact on the land. It's not like you're growing corn everywhere and nothing wrong with corn, perhaps per chance, but it sounds like it's a much more environmentally specific kind of tree plant. So that's important. But you're also talking about the importance of biocorridors, and you guys are actually taking part of your profits and reinvesting them into that. I think it sounds, you will definitely be able to talk about your KPI. I would talk about the number of trees you're planting. Maybe if it's connected to the number of hectares you're growing aloe on, or maybe it's connected to how much revenue you bring in each year. But if you can just tell a really simple story about how it is that your business is actually able to grow trees because maybe of your aloe business, if there's the connection there, you can just talk about the connection. For instance, Tom's will probably talk about the number of shoes it gives away. And I'm not the latest person on Tom's, so I'm just making this up. Tom's Shoes is a brand that's pretty popular in the United States because if you buy their shoe, they will, I believe, donate a pair to people in need around the world. So they're able to connect that directly. Like we actually gave away 1 million shoes this year because we sold 1 million shoes. Thank you guys. We built that into our profit model and you guys believe in this impact and that's why you're buying our shoes. Also, it's a good product, but that's how they're differentiating themselves. So it might be something similar, but you would have your own story. James, I wonder if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if it's just saying that you planted and you kind of monitor, well, not just put in the ground, but you also follow up and count them a year later to make sure they're alive and whatnot. And how does that, is that really a key performance indicator, or do we need to prove those or demonstrate those trees are going to be useful or doing something like that? Just putting a tree in the ground, is that a key performance indicator? I'm not very clear on what you mean
Oh,
by
sure. I love these questions because probably everybody else is having similar. So I feel like that could be a key performance indicator, number of trees. But the thing is, the more data points you have, and the data points can be numbers, but they can also be like a story, as well with that, so you can say like, let's just say 20,000 trees in 2023. And then maybe underneath that, you're like, because of the partnership we have with the government, every 10,000 plants of aloe we put, again, like I said, I don't know the connection there. We are able to plant 10,000 trees. And then maybe your next KPI underneath it is 7 indigenous tree species planted. And then, boom, and then you have some pictures of the trees starting to grow, and you're like, these trees provide X, Y, and Z. So you can provide the qualitative as well, which also lets you prove that. And you can also, so that's why I suggest on the website having an entire section on impact, because people who click on the impact page probably are looking for a story. They're probably looking to scroll down the page and learn more about you. So you can have at that point, like a drone picture or satellite picture from Google of where you're planting the trees maybe. And you can draw like, a green little line around it and be like, this is our area. And so these kind of things can happen. If so it's not all about key performance indicators often are the numbers, that you can show from like a growth from year to year, but the other things are, describing your processes. So, this is something that we actually do, and you might see later, we talk about how we monitor on our TerraFund platform, called TerraMatch. We talk about how we do it, and people can understand that as well. So you might have a section on your impact page that says how we monitor and why we monitor to make sure these trees are growing. We want to ensure a 90% survival rate. Boom, there's another one. You can talk about how unmonitored trees will probably have, again, this is all research and you have to cite it, but maybe trees will have a 40% survival rate. I don't know. But again, that's comparing your impact and intervention with what happens if you're not there. So I think all of this is actually valid. It's just about how you want to put it. And that's why I was suggesting if you just had a long Word document to start with, and you start organizing all these things together, then you can see how can you actually put them into categories and steps that might make sense for someone to read. And then putting this on a website is just an idea. You might, if you have a packaged product, you might have like, the size of like half of my cell phone to tell a small story on. And you might want to, have a key paragraph and maybe a QR code where people can go to learn more. But these kind of things is what we're going to talk about. Also, the rest of it is how to get it out to people and who wants to learn about it and why. So even probably people within your value chain are interested in that. When you tell them like what's happening, they'll probably be like, wow, that's really great. People, when they have jobs that do good for the planet, that actually feel good. I know that's true. And I know that when people have jobs that do bad for the planet, and I'm not just talking about environmentally, but, people get paid, I'm just going to go on like hundreds of thousands of dollars to lobby for tobacco companies. That's horrible. They have to turn off a part of their soul to do that. But when you tell people you're part of something that's amazing, that's going to help your community, people feel proud. So I think that even KPIs and storytelling can help motivate your supply chain partners, as well as your customers, as well as impact investors. That's my experience. Mhm.
I want to ask one more to
Yeah.
kind of understand, like we use our waste to make fertilizers, and we grow indigenous microorganisms to inoculate soils with, but measuring soil, all the ingredients, the carbon content, the phosphorus and NPK, all those different things that you would do,
Mhm.
That costs a good bit of money that we're not spending. We have done some spot checking in the beginning.
Yeah.
But we can't afford to just do all kinds of testing on it. Most of what we see as results are visible. We see the plants growing better, and we do have some where we've done some measurements, but it's mostly a visual thing. But I don't know how, I can't quantitate it, is what I'm getting at.
And I think that's okay. And I also think that will fit on a question that a lot of people will have, which is, I could measure things forever. It's too expensive. That's right. That's why it's key performance indicators. And you kind of hit the nail on the head. What your customers care about, what your business model cares about is, am I going to be able to grow more stuff? Is it safe for me and the planet? So you can even reference some of those spot checks, and you can call them that, at some point, and you can say, we tested this farm, and it improved XYZ by this much. That's a great thing, right? You can mention it a couple of times, but then you can have a catalog where you're like, here's some before and afters. And like, you can show like a picture of the plant without it, a picture of the plant with it, or the whole farm field or something. I've seen some of this actually when I have gone on the field. People are using organic inputs created by, let's say, an entrepreneur that cost 2/3 of what conventional. And the onions I saw were like the size of softballs, whereas the next field over, I could literally see it were golf balls and kind of falling all over the place. And people are just afraid to try something new. But so that's the thing. It's like, what is going to work for your company? What is going to be sustainable for your company in terms of labor of collecting it, or in terms of how will this help transform, how will this help get the goal that I want? So like, you probably want farmers to see that this stuff works, or you probably want distributors of fertilizer, let's just say, to see that it works, or you just want to show impact, like, look, here's what organic solutions can do, created right here in Africa. We don't need to import heavy agrochemicals. We have a system right here that works, and this is what we're doing in addition to growing agave. Like, we have this whole circular system. So that can be it. And I have a few examples later on that everybody's going to be having a chance to see. So I guess the biggest thing is, you don't have, just because you can measure it doesn't mean you have to. And so prioritizing is going to be prioritizing is going to be important.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you too. Let me see about muting. Also wanted to check out this this little wheel here, because it can remind us all the different ways that land restoration that you guys might be doing can have impact on people. So this is just a graphic that's been really popular. If you like this graphic and want to learn more about it, we do have a publication that our colleagues at WRI have created. The link is at the bottom. I know you can't click on it now, but that's okay. It's a whole publication. But the point of this is that there are so many different ways that your intervention might be helping. And so to be aware of those different ways, because then that's when you can create a story around it. Maybe it's helping with climate, and that basically means carbon. Maybe it's helping with soil improvement, like we just spoke with John. Maybe it's helping with water. When you plant more trees or have different or the right kind of plants, you might have better water management for your area. There's biodiversity, increasing culture. So maybe even growing indigenous agave, indigenous aloe. Maybe there's something cultural about that. Maybe there's something cultural about the way you do business that really helps empower your communities. You can tell those stories, like, are women able to, I don't know, earn more money or bring their children with them to work? I don't know, but there's a lot of cultural things that you might be able to tell the stories of. Community and food produce. So anyway, this is just to give you an idea. And if you like the wheel, you're welcome to use it or recreate it anywhere on your website to show some areas that you guys might really focus on. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, again, the guide is also really great, because if you think, you think that your company is really working with soil, this guide that we have online actually gets down to at the very metric level. So again, let's just follow one to the end. Maybe you have a bamboo company and you might be planting at the riparian levels, and maybe that was just regular farmland before, but now that the bamboo is growing, you're able to see the water quality. So again, I'm looking at water. Now I'm going to quality. You're seeing the water quality improve. And maybe that's because there's less sediment in the water because of the root system. Again, I'm making this all up, but it could be true. You can see that the sediment in the water has gone down. And you can check that out by measuring the sediment level in your reservoir or something like that. So now, actually, after looking at all of this can take a long time. We want you to help you get started. So this is where we want you to take a look. Again, this is not exhaustive, but if you can go to the chat box, what am I going to call this? It's your impact plan form. And check out the chat box right now for the impact plan form. If people could refrain from putting things in the chat box for a little bit, that's okay. So the impact plan form, everybody who's able to right now, if you can click on it. If you can't do this right now, it's okay. You can do it after the session, but if you can do it now, this is great because this is like, a 2-hour time that we have set aside. And what you're going to do is go ahead and click on it. And let me see. I clicked on it. I'm trying to see if I can, is it working? Are you guys able to see it? Yeah, there it comes. It's loading. So again, it's just simple. I think you're able to see my screen. It's a simple Google form and it just asks you for your email. And that's because it's going to email you when you're done. Asks you for your company name. Oh, it asks you twice for your email. Sorry about that. Put it in twice because I don't know which one sends it to your email. Sorry about that. And then it asks you to think about what KPIs are useful for you. And again, this is not everything, but you can probably know if you already track it, if you plan to track it, or if it's not applicable for you. So for instance, trees planted per year or total. If you already track it or if you don't, or if you'd like to. So you can go through each one of those other environmental KPIs, again, looking at improvements of soil nutrients, looking at the notable change in biodiversity, increased yield, some things like this. So just take a few seconds and fill that out. And when you get to the bottom, you are welcome to go to the next screen if you like. But we're going to go to a second part of our presentation. So I do hope that this part is simple. This is really helping you identify a few KPIs that you might like to do. Let's see. So going back to here. Let's see what's next. Okay, prioritizing your KPIs. So yeah, even after you're done filling this out, you might think, oh God, there's so many things to measure. So we want to prioritize ones. One way to do it is just to make sure that you look at numbers with deadlines so you can come up with specific times that you want to measure it. Another one is you want to make sure it's actually measurable. So for instance, in this case, maybe measuring the soil nutrients all the time is not. You have thousands of farmers, there are thousands of nutrients, so that might not be it, but maybe you can take pictures. Maybe you can talk to the farmers at the end of their year and see how their yield has done. So these are different ways you can come up with things that are actually measurable for you. Once you kind of get familiar with what your KPIs are, you might think of goals that you have to achieve it. You might think, well, we planted 10,000 trees this year. I think if we grow our business model, we can do 20,000. Amazing. So KPIs can also help you think about how you want to grow your business, attainable, realistic. Again, you can't set things that are too crazy for yourself. So experiment and see what's useful and who is going to do it. And again, all about timelines as well. So this is something you refer back to, the importance of sustainable development goals. So a lot of times you will see, especially if you're looking at impact investment presentations or grant applications, people will want to know which sustainable development goals that you affect. So this can be a cool way to actually perhaps structure your impact story. So as you have that big, perhaps Word document that I'm thinking of, you might think, well, how am I helping these different things? So you could probably, for instance, talk about the things you're doing. And then you might, behind each bullet point, you might put the relevant goals that it affects. Like, for instance, if you're talking about, just to go back to the example of the day, Indigenous aloe, you'll know, and why you're doing that. You know, you might put no poverty. That might be associated with no poverty. It might be associated because people are earning more money, might be associated with sustainable communities because that plant is actually able to grow well because it's suited to the planet, to the land there. So just think about how you can highlight yourself on each of these, each of these things. It can be useful for you. Also have one more tool here that I will show you quickly. I think you're still able to see this. So this tool is really, everybody might be at a different level. You might have someone who really loves numbers, or you might really want to go into numbers, but this is a spreadsheet that's developed by our colleagues in India, actually, who do the Land Accelerator South Asia. And it really helps you look at what you're doing here. And we've actually, when we did an in-person event, we might do this in Malawi, gone through this in very, very details about how you can fill out this and what kind of help that this has for you. So I think here's where you start with the indicator, and we actually, there's like so many indicators you can put in here, but you kind of analyze the indicator throughout. So if you're interested in that, I think we can do that. Probably we will do another training on that later, not as a part of this Land Accelerator, but we can send you the recording on that. So that's a tool that's available to you. And let me see, where am I? Hold on, so sorry. Okay, sorry, I just wanted to see where I am. Oops, nope. I keep going forward and I want to go back. Sorry, everybody. Okay, here I am. And again, the importance of baselines, you can get that through tools such as surveys and focus groups, perhaps. And you can, like, as I said before, you could compare yourself with other people who aren't doing your business. Now, this is the second part. This is the part that's important, I think, which is showing your impact. So I wanted to talk about, just really fast, some ways to show your impact, because just like you had,
there is an echo and it's distorting.
Okay. Everybody just mute yourselves and there'll probably be less echo. Sorry about that. There's so many different ways to show your impact. We wanted to show you so many of them. And again, you might not be able to do all of them at once, but you want to be aware of them and maybe have a plan about when you want to do that. So again, if you still have open your survey, you're going to the next page. This is where it's going to have you be able to talk about the kinds of channels that you want to use to discuss your impact and when you might want to do that. So for instance, I think it has like, do I have a web page already? Do I plan to create one? When do I plan to create one? So check out the survey. Again, refer back to the survey. You are not required to fill out the survey now. This is just a good time to do it, because if you're able to, you have time, and then this will send to you, and you'll definitely, you're focusing on your KPI. So again, I just put the link one more time if people wanted to start it, but it's the same survey. So again, just to go really fast through some of the ways that people can show their impact: displaying your KPIs on your homepage, collecting testimonials from either your customers or your supply chain partners, maybe your smallholder farmers, showing a photo gallery, hosting an impact section on your website, storytelling. So maybe on that impact section, you have a couple of paragraphs that tell a story. Maybe you develop a pitch around your impact, because that's going to be important for you when you go into the community and get new partners. You might want to create a case study or two. Like, here's a farmer who worked with me and here's what happened. You can think about putting your impact onto your product packaging, or to create a product brochure and have impact be a part of your product brochure. We also have additional ways to display your impact. You might want to compare yourself to a competitor. You might want to survey your customers and talk about the statistics that come from that survey. You might want to distribute point of sale display items. So like maybe there's, maybe you sell tea and you can create a little tea rack that has a space for your story. Maybe you want to talk about the certifications you have. You can put logos on your products. You can put logos and certifications on your website that you have, and try and make ways to make those certifications look believable. You can create a video tour of your farm, which is something that we're doing for our phase 2 application. Post that video tour, put a QR code to your video tour of your farm. Then people are like, wow, this is where I am. Like, it can't get any more real than this. Informational videos, photo essays. Maybe you're a part of a third-party impact study or report. So if anyone ever comes to you and says, can we do a report on your company? You got to say yes. Or you can look for partnerships with local universities to do those kind of studies for your companies. So again, if you can go to the chat box, to the chat box, look at the link, and see what you select for how you want to show your results. What are you already doing? What do you want to do the next week? What do you want to do immediately? And what do you want to do maybe more further out? And are some things not applicable for you? Again, this is just building a part of your plan and helping you prioritize what you want to do. Like, I think at this point, let me see. At this point, I have a few examples, but I think maybe more important than the examples would be for me to maybe give a mic for any kinds of, if there's any questions right now, I just might take one or two. And then after that, I would love to introduce Teiko and Gilbert to show as an example the AFR 100 website. So if anyone has questions, would you be able to raise your hands? And we'll just give a couple more seconds for any hands to go up. If not at this time, that's 100% fine. And I will also invite Gilbert and Teiko to turn on their cameras and get ready to share at the same time.
Yes, thank you so much, Amanda. Hello, everyone. Today, I'm so excited to join you and to share with you the AFR 100 website. Let me check if Teiko, when I was checking the list of participants, Teiko was not there, but it's okay, I will continue.
I'm here.
Great, Teiko. So I will be sharing this presentation with Teiko. My name is Gilbert Muvunanyiko, and I work with Global Restoration Initiative at World Resources Institute as a communication specialist. So maybe Teiko can briefly introduce himself, and then I start with the first part, and then I will pass to Teiko to do the second part of the presentation.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm joining you guys today from Kenya. My name is Teiko Nhlapo. I lead the Land Accelerator Africa at the African Union. So over the past week at the annual partnership of the AFR 100, we launched a rebranded website of the partnership. We all know for the majority of the time, a lot of people go on a website to look for jobs, to look for funding opportunities, to sign up for courses, and any other thing except to stay on the site for longer to get more information. So this site, we have created it for you, whether you want to showcase the case that you are working with your focal points in the country as to what type of restoration you are doing, or the dynamic side of the site, whether you are an expert on something, and then we need to add you as part of our expert catalog.
Expert dans notre catalogue d'experts pour refaire soit le module en ligne, ou bien pour nous pouvons vous encourager à être un facilitateur pendant certains de nos séminaires.
afr100.org, afr100.org, and we will also be sharing with you the social media kit that promotes the website, and we hope you will join us in promoting it. And also, if you need any information pertaining to your country or want to see what other people in their countries are doing, it will be one of your reference sources and
L'une de vos références à succès.
your country. With that, I'll give to Gilbert.
Thank you so much, Teko. So I let me try to share my screen. Which one is the? Oh, yeah. Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Good, great.
If you can go
I
onto a presenter mode.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Teko. I love how Amanda started with the product and asking us which one we can buy. We gave some answers, but apart from product, the store will play a great role to attract people, to get people to buy your product. So same as, you know, the how you tell your story, how people get to know what you're doing, why you're doing it. So before I proceed with the next slide, I would love to ask you that question. Put in a chat why you think the companies need to have a website. So feel free to drop in a chat your answers, and we'll leave you them after, and to give us, you know, understanding on how we can work together and how we can help you in the future. Right. Let me go straight to the second slide. This is why is it important for the company to get a website? So correct me if I'm wrong. When you visit a company and you look at, you know, you see how they present the product, how they tell a story of what they are doing, I think it's increased the credibility of that organization. And people will have no question about the legitimacy of your business. Another thing, it's brand. So you need to establish who you are and what you represent and what you stand for. So, and that will increase trust and increase also the chances of the customers to buy for you. So I think it will be very difficult to talk about your brand. We're using, like, let's say, a fact sheet or a pull-up banner. So you won't be able to go everywhere and to get your brand known, because there are many people doing the same thing as you do, same product, but the way you present it, the way you tell the story behind what you're selling will increase the chance to get the buyers. So another thing that the website will be great for a business is increasing the chance of getting leads. So you have been meeting, for instance, you have been meeting with people in different workshops, but you hear what they do a little bit. Maybe you hear the name of the organization, but you can go still on their website and get all the information you would need from them and get to know how you can contact them to have more information. So another great thing is about the search engine optimization. When your website has a CEO optimized, so you will have a chance to get to show up in a Google search result. So for instance, if you type, just as an exercise, type your organization in a Google and see how fast or at which place it comes on Google. So that is important thing. For instance, if you have some keywords, what you do, your product and the country you operate in. So when you tap in Google, you will have a chance, someone looking for that product, you will have a chance to have it, listed among the first on the Google when your website is CEO optimized. And also the website will save you your time and help you in the customer service, as well as increasing your productivity or the productivity of your staff. For instance, if you don't have a website, and you will receive many people calling you, asking the simple information that they would have seen, they would find the answers on the website if you have it. Another thing is, the base of the website is that it operates 24/7. So anything you want to update people anywhere in the world, you can get those updates to many people at once, all over the world. So I think you have been there. How would we get started in developing a website? It's you first get a domain name. So that domain name would be easily to be returned by customers, and think about how the customers will trust your website and brand. So you really need to think about a nice domain name. So like us, the domain name is AFR 100, and that easy to retain, easy to write if someone wants to learn about it. So you need to do that, but also think about having a domain name which is a little bit similar or more or less similar to your organization or the brand of any product you want to sell. So the second step is to find a web hosting company. So the website can't be live on the internet if it's not hosted by a web hosting company. And the third is you design the website. So here is where you think about the information you want your customers to know. What do you want to tell about your work, what you do, your product? And also here in design, you think about what do you want them to do on the site. So you need to think about the call for action and anything that can make it easier for the customers to navigate on your website. So also, before you start even designing a website, you have been getting some questions from customers, either on the phone or in a meetings. So you have that in mind. How can I respond to those questions on this website? And you also think about if the order in a way your audience will navigate, will interact with the website. For instance, maybe you're selling the product, but you want also people to go to the story related to that product. So that way in your design, you will have like a page or a section on a page talking about the product, but another section will talk about the stories, maybe the update from how the product is made, the update from the field, how is it making impact. So, and then here in design, you get some, you map your website, like with the ideas that will help you, will help you, the developer, to come up with a realistic website that answers to your objectives. And when you have that design in mind, you have mapped up all the pages and how they're gonna interlink, that's when you start building your website. So here you think about, things like, here you think about the budget, you explore the available ways of building a website, and you think also how it will be maintained and how it will be easy to make changes. Here you think about, how much money do you have and how many web building tools do I have? You can either, if you don't have enough budget, you can think about using a template. So the template is easy to use and it's easy for anyone to update, to change the content, but it have some limitations also. Like you can't find a way to interlink the pages as you can do to other. Maybe another way is using content management systems where you can customize your website, or you can decide to hire a developer and start, with code and, do your website. So you need to think about the budget you have. You need to think about the resources you have, internal resources you have. So if you don't have anyone who knows much about the website, you can start with a template. So my advice here is to start low and upgrade. You can start with a template, but as your business is growing, you can upgrade as you have a budget. And once you have a website, it's not over. You still learn from the users and upgrade to serve well your customers. So here we wanted to give an example of what I've been saying of AFA 100 website. So before we designing the website, we looked at the Google Analytics. So we found two things. We found that people. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, you can proceed.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Great. So before designing the AFA 100 website, we looked at the Google Analytics. We said which parts of the website is most viewed, and which language do people prefer? How people view our website? Is it on a computer? Is it on phone? And then we had consultations with different donors and implementers, focal points, and interestingly, the result we saw on Google Analytics matches well with what people said. So we decided to build a website which can serve as a pitch for all the AFA 100 initiative, and that can showcase that financing local land restoration project can lead to real on-ground impact for people, climate, and ecosystem. So the website, as I will show you shortly, it centers on leadership of countries in advancing restoration and the project that are delivering the impact, the implementation on ground. So we looked at also the search engine optimization option. So if you type AFA 100 or restoration in Africa, I think this website will come among the first suggestions. And also, as we found out that many people viewing the AFA 100 website use mobile, we make sure that this website is mobile friendly for the people across Africa. And another thing, we know that in some areas of Africa, we have some limited internet speed. So this website is designed in a way it is fast, and what we are mindful of what we are posting. So for example, if you are to post a photo, we have some limited maximum size of the photo to put. So we make sure that we don't put heavy pictures, but we have a realistic picture to post that cannot impede, can go through even in areas with limited internet. I have recorded something, but maybe now I can use, I can view the website with you. So let me know if you can see, you can still see the website. Can you see my
looking-
screen and you see the website?
No, I think you might need to stop share because we're seeing your PowerPoint presentation. Stop share and then reshare.
Yeah. This one. So
There we go. Perfect.
what I was saying, yeah, what I was saying, I just want you to look at this website and see if it matches the objective we have said shortly in the previous slide. So as I said, this website centers on country leadership and projects. So the way you design a website, so the first half left, you give it to very important content. So it's countries, project, partnership, which is a project, and news. And when you need some more, some people tend to go to this right when they need some more information. But here you put things which are most important. So here I'm viewing the front page. So it includes some update from the field because in our previous assessment on Google Analytics, we found out most of people go to the projects. So we invested in this and we created many projects to answer to what people go to our website to see. So it has FR 100 at a glance. So this with this update automatically as you add the country and the commitment, as well as this number of countries, and then it has this interactive map. So whenever you want to go to a country, you can go to the map and click, and you have an overview. And when you click to explore, you go to individual country page. And it has also the projects. So we try to include all the projects, as many projects as we can. I can't say that you have included all because the project you have are not only this. That's why we encourage you to add also your project. If you have an illustration project, I will show you later. There is a way to send some information and then your project can be featured on this website. So we can work together and come up with your project page on this website. And you have a way to discover more projects and countries, and then a way to contact us. So if you want to follow us on social media, we have some social media you can follow. So let's go straight to the countries, as I said. So there's the map. You can go to individual project with the map, and then, or you can go to the list. Let me take just an example of how Kenya, for instance, as Kenya. My internet is slow. So, yeah, this is an example of how individual country page look like. So it's starting with statistics, so statistics, you have projects in the country, you can go to the, so whenever there's a project, there is a way to target in the back end and then to show on individual country page. And then it has the approach the country is using to restore the land, and then the steps to success, what they are doing to reach to their goals, and key milestones, what the key achievement they are targeting or they have achieved per year, and to have vision for the country in terms of restoration. And you can feature also any restoration video that talks about how people are restoring land in a particular country, and then resources. You can add, documents, you can add websites, you can add a video link, and tag it to a particular country. And let's move quickly to the project, which was among the main centers of this website. As I said previously, before I scroll down and see how in the individual project page looks like, everyone anyone restoring land across Africa who has a project and willing to feature it on FR 100 website, you can submit your project and our team can work with you to come up, to verify the information and come up with a project page for you. So I think it's a good thing. If you will have even anything, any news, an update about your work, and you want people to discover it through FR 100, you can share with us, and then we can work together to refine and then post it on this site. It's our site. So everyone can use it. So we try to put as many projects as we can. So if you go to a country at this dot, I can tell this is Kenya. You can see the projects. When you go here, you can maybe let's do like this one. You can double click here and get to the projects page. So it's a story behind the organization and how they are restoring land. So there is also a way to put some statistics if you have them. You can put the video on how you were doing the restoration work, and you can have also some key milestones. So for this one, I think we don't have. Maybe we can see some projects with, let's go maybe to Malawi. The well was for Zoe. So whenever you have a project, you can reach out to us and then we create a page for you and for many people to discover your work throughout the world. And beyond the project, we thought about differentiating in simple project with the bigger initiative that make impact across a bigger region. So we have some examples so far here, partnership, and it includes the Land Accelerator program. But let me take like one example. We have FR 100 Restore Local, we have Global Evergreening Alliance, we have Telefund for FR 100, Arica, Land Accelerator, and Forest for Future. So let's go to the Land Accelerator page for you to see how it looks. So for the page, you can put also statistics, you can feature some videos, you can have some calls for action. If there is, the application is open, you can change this and call people to apply for the next quote. You have, some statistics, as I said, some cohorts, description, and you have some frequently asked questions about Land Accelerator. So, and where the countries and where the program extends to. So, without delaying, actually, that's how the partnerships are. And we go to news and event, which is an important part also of the website. So that shows some update from the field. What are you doing? So if you have anything you want people to know and you want to cross post or feature on this website, please feel free to reach out to us. So here are some news. And then social media, you can put some update. You can even feature some update from you if you have anything you think it's important that we can feature as social media updates. Please let us know. We have also events. If you have an important event you want to feature, this website is yours also. Keep that in your mind that you can reach out to us and we feature it and help people discover and join your event. And then the other part is resources, as I said. You can, for projects, there are these filters you can use. You can filter by country, you can filter by document type, And for the project, you can filter by country, by restoration type, and you get to the project you want you're looking at. So this is how the sources look like, and the about page. So as I said, when someone has these 2 pages, which will use it to be most visited, can go look for more details about FR 100. So this page talks about what is FR 100, what is the goal of FR 100, what are the member countries, what are the projects so far, and talks about a little bit about some examples, some types of restoration for anyone who is interested on how the restoration is done, and has some practices for FRR, different partners and stakeholders of FR 100, and it has also monitoring. It has its page and has notes from experts. So if you're an expert and you wish to say something about FR 100 or say how it is important to making impact to where you are and how is your work is contributing to FR 100, so feel free to send us that note. Also, we can include you here as an expert. So we have partners, technical partners, financial partners. When you click here, you can go to the list of and the details about all the partners here and the ADNPAs, the secretariat. You can read more about the NEPAD. Yeah, and finally, we have a way if you want to contact us, if you want to give us feedback, you can go to the contacts, you can contact one of these people here on this list, and you can give us the feedback in using this form. So please, we would love to have your feedback. As I said, you build a website, but the feedback is important because having the platform online is not enough. You need to change, you need to make it, the best of use of your audience. So we would love to have your feedback. If you see anything we can change, please reach out to us. If you see anything we can redesign, maybe in the future, please reach out to us. And another thing I forget to mention is that this website is in English and French. So for the Francophone and Anglophone, it's easy to get to access the information, and we accept the information. If you want to feature anything, you can reach out to us in French or in English, and our team will work with you to get your work published here. So thank you so much. So keep putting your questions in the chat. Maybe we'll have some minutes to answer to them. And I want to go back to the presentation. Oh, I will need.
Oh, while you're
Share
going to
screen
the
again.
presentation, Gilbert, I think I'll invite Samuel to put into the chat box the attendance form, okay? So everybody check the chat box, attendance form will be going in there. And Gilbert, just comfortably feel free to get back to the page you were on in your presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. I think we're on this page. As I was saying, having a platform online is not enough. That's why you need to look for advice, not only from the expert who know things about website development, but also those users who don't know anything about how websites are developed, because most of the time the website is designed for them. So their feedback is very important. You need to get feedback and comment from all the range of people. So even here, if you are developing a website, if you have been working on one, we are pleased to help you communicate your restoration and business innovations. Please reach out to us and we are ready to support you as much as we can. So as I was saying, having a platform is one thing. We can celebrate that you have been able to create this website, but it's not now. The journey actually starts here with content. Content is so important. If your website is not dynamic, it keeps the same all the time, so people will get bored. Like it's an abandoned platform. So you need to keep updating the content. So one of the advice I can give you, the image and video speak more than just writing. So get the best images of what you do, best videos. It doesn't need to be necessarily very, very professional, but make sure that you get the images there, because people will feel nice browsing your website when they have some images, not just the text only. So if you can, please try to put some interactive tools. If you can make a map, you can, do it. If you can, for instance, if you want people to buy your product, you can put calculators on your website or an estimators as the service you're providing requires. From people I talk to, sometimes they are afraid to write, but this is an advice I can give you about writing. Just start. The best part of the writing is start writing. Write something, write an update today, and maybe take a pause of two days and come back to it. I think you will be able to refine it in a tremendous way you didn't think about. So you have to keep it short words, short sentences, keep it concise and simple and direct. So you don't need to write a sophisticated thing. You need to write a simple thing, but at least keep your content updated. So I think I can stop from here. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Teiko and I will be answering those questions. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you to Teiko Gilbert for being a special guest today, and for really rounding out that whole idea of what communication means, what impact means, especially when we're talking about AFR 100 as a movement. Pretty much impact, as I think Falk said earlier today, is the whole purpose. So impact is something that is happening. It's something that you observe, as something that you try to measure or you try to prove, so that people have the credibility in you and in what you're doing, the credibility in the movement. So thank you so much for showing some of that intense body of work with all of those projects and everything. I know that people will love to check it out, and I really welcome that open invitation to get in touch with you. And Gilbert, I'll follow up with you a little bit more on some text that we can provide on our Restore Forward website, so that people can always refer back to it if they want to learn more about project pages on AFR 100. Let's see if there are any questions right now. So I think one of the questions was a very specific targeted question. If you wanted to have and submit some pictures, what sizes do they need to be? So that is definitely a clear response right there from Teiko. So everybody who's interested in that, feel free to copy and paste that answer. And let me see. I do have
I can answer that.
Oh, yes, please. Yes. Yeah. Any questions you see, please go ahead.
Yeah. I will start with some questions I see in the chat. There's someone who suggested that the about page should be on the left, not on the right. So it depends. Like as we said, we wanted this website to be a pitch, and we did Google Analytics, and we found out that people go to look at projects and countries. So that's why we put that as very important. If you want to make that a pitch, you focus on what matters most. And that was the implementation on ground. So the project should be there. So the about is like kind of in the middle, if I can say. So, and when people go there to look at what is happening about AFA 100, projects, countries, and partnerships, if you get that, you can want some more information about the organization, the initiative. So that's when you go deeper and say, what is it about this initiative doing this? So you balance that. You focus on what you want to sell first, so that you can put things in their places. So it's totally fine to put the button there according to what you want to sell. But this time you want to have that pitch saying that FA 100 is real and it's happening on the ground. So the project partnership would be the first thing. And then it's a country-led initiative. So you want to look at how countries are doing and how many countries have joined the movement. So that's what I can say as a comment to that. But it's up to everyone to decide, depending on what you want to sell. So about the size of the photo, for us, with the internet limitation I talked about, the photo we upload, you can send any photo, but before you upload on the website, everyone uploading the content has to resize that photo to so far we do photo between 300 to 500 megapixels, which is good quality and also lower in terms of the size. And so someone asked you to send my email. My email is in contact. On the last contact list on the page, you can get my contact. Background image. So as I'm reading some more questions in the chat, is if you have any question, you can unmute and ask it. I can take one. I can answer you right away.
But it might have been a clear presentation. So I might wanted to, at any time there's questions as well, raise your hand as well. But I wanted to take this back. So far we had 37 people fill out the impact form, and they've gotten emails with it. And again, this is just to get you started to think about what your priorities are, because one of the questions I saw earlier was about how do you, is this even possible for entrepreneurs to do or track? So I wanted to do a really quick right now exposition of different ways that entrepreneurs around the globe we've seen display their impact. And you have access to all of this within 24 hours once we get up the recordings from today. So I just wanted to share a few of the different ways, because as John was saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. We can't do everything, but there's something that's going to fit for you. So I wanted to show you a lot of different examples. And then, I would invite people to keep putting questions in the chat box. If Gilbert and Teiko could monitor that. This presentation I'm going to do now will probably take about 5 minutes or less. So if any questions come in while I'm presenting, then that will be fine. And also, Samuel, if you want to repost either of the links, and if anybody wants to help me mute people who shouldn't be unmuted because it's too loud, that would also be helpful. So Samuel, if you can help me do that. I can't figure out how to mute somebody right now. Oh, jeez. All right. I found out how to mute them, but I would like help from Samuel or Fabiana or somebody in the future. Okay, perfect. So let's go to this presentation so we can move on. I've let you guys know what's coming next. So this is a company called Board Charger. They're really exciting. They're from India. They talk about how their intervention helps get more water to your bore wells in a way where the water is still as fresh as it has been, and basically the underground water becomes a storage tank. Very cool. This is about price transparency. I did see a question in the box about how to be transparent. There are so many ways to be transparent. You have to think maybe about why you want to be transparent and how, and if you can keep it up. It can be from, you know, maybe having a section on your impact page or your about us page that's called transparency, and you can talk about your commitment to transparency and why, and then you can list different ways that you're transparent. So for instance, this company decided to share how much they pay. So when I pay $150, rupees for their product of turmeric powder, where does that 150 rupees go? And they break it down. So there's price transparency in your value chain. You could post your audited financial statements. You could talk about your pay scales. So that's something that some companies are starting to do, is talk about how much different people at different levels are earning, including the owners and the CEOs. So there's a lot of ways to be transparent. And with each of those ways, you can think about why. This is an example of storytelling based in a tree-based company. So you'll notice here, there are some numbers, but it's not focused on numbers. They're talking about impacts that they're having by planting these hazelnut trees in the Himalayas. That's in a place of land that's been fallow or degraded. Not cutting down trees to do this. Let's see, I have to keep moving all these things. Is also, if you go to their website, you can see the whole storytelling process that this web page has. This is another one that's kind of like storytelling. This is one where it's KPIs and a map. So this company is called Charity Water, and they're a global organization. Your organization might be focused in your country, and you might have a map of your country with the areas. Maybe it's the areas where your farmers are, but a map can be really great because a lot of us have land-based businesses. This is a cool organization that does reforestation, and you can see the before and afters. They'll look very vivid. If you visit that website, you'll be able to see a lot of their before and after gallery. And all of these, when you get this PowerPoint presentation, you'll have links to all of these websites. This is a section where they have a whole part of their website called Save the Bees. And so their whole Save the Bees is like educating their clients about why bees are important, how their honey production helps the bees, how the bees help the country. So you might have a whole sector that your company works in, and you might want to highlight and educate your customers on why that's important. We have this here, which is, this is actually comparing a product. So it's comparing the efficacy of a product of natural flea killer with a pesticidal one. And it's talking about how quick it can kill all the different bugs. So that's a comparison study. So you might have a comparison as well. This is a product brochure about safe, natural, organic fertilizers. So you can check that out if it's interesting for you. It can be a product brochure that also has some education built into it. This is a cool website that I liked, where it has an interesting way of bringing their videos to life. So you'll see that it has like a drone aerial shot of their land. And then it has a couple different places that you can visit by clicking on that. So again, people really love to see the land if this is what your business is and your value proposition. So this is another way to display it. And again, this is building the transparency. Let me see. Oh, I don't know what's happening there. I want to go to the next slide. Okay, so if you haven't finished already, we want to ask you to take the time to finish the survey. Again, the survey has been put in the chat at some point. See if I can put it there one more time. If you haven't, just take the time to finish it. So far, we've had 37 people finish it. And this part, the last part, is asking the steps that you will take to improve your reporting this week. So thank you guys for talking about that. And you will want to think about the top aspects that worry me about these new, that you might feel like, oh gosh, I really need to do this, areas that I want to explore, and additional comments. So this is all for yourself. We've got a lot more examples here. but I want to jump back and see if there's been any questions, and just know that you'll get all these recordings and everything as well. And of course, after we answer any questions, I'll go into a new presentation about our phase 2 application. So I don't know, Gilbert or Teiko or Samuel, have you seen any questions come into the chat box during the exposition of examples?
Yeah, I have seen one question and I answered it in the chat. The question about who can send in feature projects on the website. And someone was asking if it's top 15, but it's anyone. It doesn't mean you have to be under Land Accelerator or anything. What matters is the impact you're making on the ground in terms of restoration. So anyone can feature a project there. So you can use that link on the project page. I put it in the chat, and submit your information, and our team will go back to you to ask more questions, and we work on the project page together. Thank you.
Oh, that's really, really great. So again, someone was asking if there was some quiet time to fill out the form. If you're unable to fill out the form during this presentation, it's okay. I'm just thinking that we're going to need to get to the final presentation about our phase 2 applications. So at this time, I probably want to thank heartily Gilbert and Teiko for presenting this opportunity to the Land Accelerator entrepreneurs today. So I know that everybody's really excited. If anybody feels like putting that clap icon from the reactions, you can go for it, put the clap option right there. And I may just thank you so much. And I also wonder if Samuel would want to take a moment to say something as well, because he's been collaborating a lot with Samuel and with Gilbert and Teiko as well. Samuel, would you like to say any words as we transition?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Gilbert and Teiko, for making this presentation. One of the deliverables that we are really trying hard to make sure that the top 100 gets out with from this program is a viable website. And I believe this discussion today has been able to empower them to just see a good example of a simple website that they can actually deprecate in their businesses. And thanks, Amanda, for bringing in the aspect of impact and measurement of KPIs. One of the things from last year that the team actually appreciated was the fact that they were helped to be able to communicate their impact. Because I can tell you from this program, you'll be able to spot a lot of opportunities in terms of climate-related opportunities, similar accelerator programs. And I want to believe now you'll be in a position to be able to communicate your impact even better. And that increases your chance for you to be picked. Even as we talk about phase 2 of this program, that's the next session we are getting into, you'll be in a better position to be able to communicate how usage of the grant will be able to deliver a certain impact for your business, but also for the communities that you work. So it's a very good session, and I want to believe people have been able to learn. If not, feel free to reference it should you be in a situation where you need to communicate your impact. This is the point where you can be able to pick out those key performance indicators. So thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Gilbert and Teiko for the session. And yeah, hopefully, even as we transition to top 15, we have this in mind. So back to you, Amanda.
Oops, unmuted myself. So thank you. I put in the chat box there the links to the presentation I'll be going over. And I did see the question that, are there focal points in Zambia? So I don't know, Teiko, do you remember off the top of your head, Zambia is a country listed on the FR100 website, Gilbert or anybody? I mean, I can go look at it too, but basically you can look If it's listed on the AFR website, I'm pretty sure there are focal points there. But this might be something that we want to talk about at our final meeting. We can take note of this. Our next week's meeting would be interaction with the focal points, and what can the focal points do? What can the entrepreneurs do with this network with AFR 100? So let's see if we can bring together that response maybe for next week. In the meantime, I will say thank you once more, and I'm transferring over to this presentation. So again, if anyone wanted to follow along, I sent the links to the French version and the English version as well. And I'm just going to go slide by slide, and I'm going to go through it a little quickly. And as I go through it, I'm going to think back to the questions I've seen on the WhatsApp page and see if we can get anything, see if we can answer some questions, because I see we're getting close to time. So what we're going to cover today are the upcoming dates, what it means to qualify for innovation grants, what it means to qualify for the top 15. Presentation is that everybody here becomes, I also want to invite, if Gilbert and Teiko have another commitment, please feel free to leave. If you'd like to stay online, you can stay online. It's up to you. So we want the goals are that you are informed of the requirements and the deadlines for this, so that everybody who wants to be considered can be considered. We want you to feel confident in your application, and we want you to understand the reasons that we designed the program the way we did. So I want to remind everybody that genius is 1% talent, which all of you have, and 99% hard work, which you have as well, but it also applies to what we're talking about for applying to the top 15, showing us your hard work. So the upcoming dates, we've opened the applications for phase 2. We've opened them, we've sent the links to everybody via email, we've sent things on WhatsApp. We also have it on Restore Forward. So if you are unable to find your email, you can just sign in to Restore Forward and you will see all the information you need right there. Following the 23rd deadline, we're going to send you, this hasn't been sent yet, so don't worry, we're going to send you via WhatsApp and via email a program evaluation survey. The reason this survey is separate is because we want you guys to know that evaluating the program has nothing to do with how strong your applications are and who we're selecting for the program. So we're looking for honesty. So this is our chance to try and be transparent for you, to give you guys an open and honest chance to provide feedback to us on the program and to share with us some things you've learned. So don't even worry about that now. We will send the link after July 23rd. You have about 2 weeks to complete that. So that survey is also a requirement, but it's not going to be evaluated based on what you say. It's basically, did you answer the questions and press submit? The next thing is on August 10th, Thursday, August 10th, so a few days after submission of that, we want to have a certificate of completion ceremony where we want to invite everybody who will be receiving the innovation grants who's completed the requirements of the program to join us. We'll present you with your virtual certificates. It also will come with a link or a badge that you can post on your LinkedIn page as well. And then on Friday, the next day, we'll make an email announcement of the top 15. And for those top 15, we'll invite them to a welcome meeting where we will talk all about the logistics and the contents of the upcoming program that will be going from August 15th all the way until the end of October, which will include a lot of virtual meeting sessions, the opportunity to get feedback on your slides, the opportunity to pitch in small groups in front of professionals. So join us for that. October 16th and 20th, we'll be in Malawi, and then we'll be processing the innovation grants. So just right now, to talk about some questions I saw, we didn't discuss when innovation grants were going to be provided before. Due to logistical concerns, it is necessary for the program officers to process all of the grants at the same time. So we are needing to wait until after the completion of the Malawi program. So I know everybody wants money yesterday, so do I. This is a grant, so we do have to follow the procedures that are given to us by our own people so that we can be transparent enough to them too. So understanding that need, that everybody wants, but this is the program and it's a grant. It's not that we're buying something from you. It's a grant, so that we have to be transparent to our other people as well. So that's the timeline that was created. And in the next year, you'll join our Land Accelerator alumni community. So we would welcome y'all to join that as well. So moving on, again, we'll look at qualifying for those grants and qualifying for the top 15. First of all, want to talk about what that means. So there is basically one main application, which you guys have received the link to. The application, if you guys have opened it at all, you'll see you cannot save. So you might want to reference the entire questions and think about all of your answers before you go in and press submit. But basically the form asks you how you're going to spend $5,000 on how that's going to help your business. And it asks you to upload links to your website, links to your video, as well as your PowerPoint presentation. So in order to qualify for the innovation grant, you need to meet all the requirements, which include attendance, which we've been keeping track of. I think at this point, you have been notified if attendance has been a problem. So that should be fine. You'll talk about the other requirement is putting a use of funds description. Another one is that your website is working. The other requirement is that you have uploaded a site visit video, which is probably a link to your YouTube, Vimeo, or the page where your video is hosted. And then the other one is, do your slides follow the template? And these are all basically yes or no answers. So it's not, is your site visit video good enough? No, is it a site visit video? So again, we're going to look to see if it's a site visit video or not, but we're not judging it in order to get an innovation grant. Is it good enough? If it's a site visit video where you're on your company, you're talking about, you're on your farm, you're at your factory, at your store, you're with your clients, you're talking about your business, that is going to be enough. So that's what I want to emphasize. Whereas if we are going for the top 15, that's where we're looking at a little bit more qualitative. First of all, we're looking to make sure that you hit all the requirements. Yes. Then we're going to look at qualitative. What is your company like? How do your deliverables contribute to the story of success of your company? What we're looking for in the top 15 are companies that are going to be able to take this additional networking, take this additional storytelling and platform, and go into the future with it. So we're looking for companies who can take additional mentorship and networking and run and improve. So we're looking at, do the documents tell a compelling story? And also we ask, if you have financial documents, you can upload them. So I wanted to clarify this for a second. Financial documents, we mean generally profit and loss and balance sheets. So, we talked about this and the importance of it with Looney. And so, we're looking for your latest year. So if you have 2022, if you filed documents, just upload them. If you don't, if you're not able to, if you don't have the forms, you will still be qualified for the grants. If you can't upload your financial documents, you can even still qualify for the top 15. It's just that we're trying to get to know the companies, and financial documents can help us get to know your company. So basically, if you have them, it's going to be treated as a bonus if you can upload them. I think I will take questions at the end. So I might want to ask Samuel to maybe keep track of the key questions and maybe the order that people are raising their hands. So I'm going to go on. I think the rest of the slides will go a little quicker than this one. Again, just wanted to clarify, if you meet all requirements, you will qualify for a $5,000 innovation grant. Our goal as trainers is that as many people achieve this as possible. Qualifying for the top 15, well, we wish that we could give this kind of support to everybody, but with resources, we can only work with 15 entrepreneurs. So therefore, that's where the strongest application can help. On the next slides, I'm going to help share with you things that will make your application stronger. So again, submit your best application, and this will help you qualify for both Innovation Grant and the top 15. Submit it by July 23rd, And don't forget, we'll remind you, but there will be a program evaluation survey that's also mandatory so that you will qualify. Again, filling out 2 forms, the application form and the program survey form. And let's see, tips for a strong application. So again, talk about the site visit video. This slide I found to be the most instrumental. Use a smartphone, don't worry about using fancy technology. Walk through your facility, plan on shooting at least 45 to 75 minutes of video to edit it down to 5 to 15 minutes. You don't need to put any fancy music, any titles, and you can post it on YouTube, Facebook, or WhatsApp. So the purpose of this slide is to let you know how simple it can be. But the important thing I would say is 45 to 75 minutes of raw video so that you can get 5 to 15 minutes of something really good. So if you want more details on that, please reference the Restore Forward website. We have that link for you in this presentation that you have right there. That's where you can see the recording and the presentation slides that Looney gave that gives even more details if you need support on that. Next deliverable is your pitch deck slides. And I took this slide from Looney's presentation. I thought it was very instrumental as well. We mentioned that we'd like you to follow a template. So the template is pretty much laid out here in these 14 numbered slides: title, problem, solution, customers, market, opportunity, size. Why do we want you to try and do this, even if you already have a slide deck? Because the important thing is to try and innovate. So we want you to try something new and see how it works out for you. It will not take you very long to follow Looney's step-by-step presentation. If you remember, he tells you the kind of things to write on each slide. So this might take 2 or 3 hours. It might take 10, I don't know, but try and make it not take that long and see how it works for you. And so that's what we'd like to have you submit. And again, going to the next slide, you can reference that on Restore Forward. We have the link easily put there for you. And then the next one is our website. So again, website. If you already have a website, you probably are meeting this because we're not going to look at how good or beautiful your website is. That's very hard. Of course, if you take this time to try and improve your website, that's fantastic. But I just want to clarify, we're not judging it based on graphic design capabilities, although we all know the importance of that. We just want everybody to have a basic website. So again, I put a couple of slides for my presentation there, where maybe your website should have a home page, an about page, a way to buy or shop from you, and maybe an impact section. If you can't even have all of these, that's okay. It doesn't need to be on separate pages. It can all be on the same page. Anything you want, we just want you to try and create a presence for yourself. I think we saw that over half of you have websites, but close to half of you don't. So we're just trying to raise the standards so that you guys can improve your business as you go forward. And again, you can reference my presentation, where on that presentation, I shared with you 5 different websites where you can get very affordable logos. I shared with you 2 different web platforms where it's free to start or very cheap to start. And you do not, it's great to have your own URL if you want to have your own domain name. But if you are not in the position to invest any money right now, Wix has a way that you can post your website online and it seems free. So refer back to that. So those are the things. And the point is, we're trying to ask you to change your standards, because if you raise your standards, you change your life, and not only your life, but your whole entire communities. So these are just some of the inputs that we think will help you get the outputs of growth and profitability. So just to talk about how we're going to check for quality, the Land Accelerator team will, once you submit, we're going to verify that your deliverables are unique and follow the templates given. If the deliverables are lacking, you'll receive a note from the Land Accelerator team member sharing what you need to do. I do have a few examples. So the quality requirements are just to ensure that you've put in an effort, and basically so that everybody in the community who graduates with a certificate feels like it was fair. They don't feel like, well, 10 of these people didn't have to spend 5 hours making a video like I did. No, everybody did. In order to be eligible, everybody had to raise their standards as a group. So for instance, I have a few examples here of things that we'll be looking for so that you know not to do them. And so that you know, if we write you, you'll be like, yeah, I was told that, you're right. So a site visit video, we don't want a link to a previously created video or a video that's semi-related to your company. Examples I've seen, people sending links to news stories that cover their companies. No, you need to make this video yourself. Like we said, it might take you an hour. If you don't have time to really edit it well, this time, guess what? Reality and transparency is more important. So do a tour-based site visit video. That's what we need. Next slide that will work. Talking about a slide deck, what will not work for a slide deck. So if we're looking at your slide deck and we're seeing a presentation that does not follow this 12 slide template at all, we're going to write you back and say, sorry, like you didn't even try out the template. All we want you to do is try it out. So we'll ask you to resubmit. So we have the PowerPoint presentation format. So do you have to change everything? Do you have to follow it exactly? No. You should use the order, you should use the content, but if you have extra photos to slice in there, if you already have a layout of your slide that you like, you do not have to use the background or the colors that are in the presentation template at all. You can just reference the 12 slides and be like, let me put that in that order and use these 12 headings to help me out. You don't need to do everything exactly the same way. I can answer more questions on this later. And then the next thing is for a website. What things will not work for a website? And these are all things we've seen, so we want you to be better. Don't link to your social media page and count that as your website. If you do a lot of business on social media, that is fantastic and you should keep doing it because it's a channel that works for your community. If you sell everything on WhatsApp, keep doing it. If you sell everything on Facebook Marketplace, go for it. But have a website that you can also link to because it gives you more of a platform to discuss who you are. Also, links that lead nowhere. People get very excited and they're like, I'm going to put my company greenpotinternational.com, even though I don't have a website for it. I'm just going to put it there because it looks great. No, we're going to click on the link and it's not going to go somewhere. So please make sure your link goes to your webpage. And it's okay if it is not a fancy URL. It's okay if it's a very long URL because you are using the free version. It's okay. Don't link to a company that's not yours. Something that looks like it's related to yours, just don't do it. We're going to know it's not your company. Don't put a link that leads to a page that says under construction. If you have the capabilities to make a page that says under construction, you have the capability within one day to put up some cool pictures of your company, to put your company name, your contact information, a little bit about what you do, and to make it an actual website. So no under constructions. That's all. The requirement is that it's a basic website. That's it. So those are the standards we're looking for. I think they're basic. I think we're not trying to be too tough on you. I mentioned again, our goal is that everybody who's come this far and joined us for these sessions can be achieving these goals. So again, most people will meet the requirements if they try to follow the spirit of the deliverables. We're just checking to see if people are looking for an easy way out. We want you to try your best. We're not picking on anyone. And the spirit is in upholding the standards and creating fairness across all members in the community. Again, if you actually don't meet the requirements though, okay, it doesn't mean we hate you. We don't hate you. We're just giving you a chance to improve. So we're going to email you about it by July 30th. Why July 30th? It gives us a whole week after July 23rd to click on those links and to check for the quality. So once we mail you and say, hey, this isn't up to par, here's what we're looking for. Again, it'll be a very quick little sentence. We'll give you a link where you can re-upload an improved document by August 6th. So you'll be provided a link. Don't even worry about it now. And if you don't meet the requirements, then you will not be able to get the innovation grant or qualify the top 15. So we hope that you'll listen to us. We really hope that it'll be very few people that we have to email about that. So don't worry too much about it. Qualifying for the top 15, just wanted to do a very short session. We're going to evaluate all the applications we receive. We're going to select the top 15 based on the criteria that we share on the next slide, which is the same criteria that you guys used to get in here in the first place. Everybody who qualifies for the innovation grant will be considered for the top 15 cohort as well. So again, these are the criteria that we're looking at. Is your business profitable? Does it have the chance to scale? Which means your company can get larger. Or does it have the chance to be replicable through partners, through franchising to different areas? Is the environmental impact positive? And is the social impact positive? So you guys already are leaning in this direction because you're in the program, but that's the kind of stuff we're looking for our cohort. And I don't think I need to go through these slides that I called a blast through the past. I just wanted to remind you guys what we presented in the very beginning of our very first welcome session, because we really tried to message throughout about the program structure of having 12 weekly sessions. Our last one is July 11th, please come, and about having our Thursday peer sessions. The importance of the weekly sessions, I think you guys have gotten to see it, exposure to new ideas. And that phase 2 is coming, well, where we have 15 companies who will be selected, where the innovation grants will be provided, where you had the requirement to attend 75% of live sessions, where you needed to apply by submitting documents, innovation grant plan, 10 to 12 slide business presentation, site visit video, working website, and to answer the surveys. So just wanted to reiterate that we've been trying to message this the whole way. And we hope that everything has been useful for you. Reminding everybody here that you can join the Restore Forward app. And so we've put the links to that in this presentation as well, just in case there's any people who haven't gotten it yet, please get it, because this is where you're going to look at our recordings. And again, these are upcoming dates. And I just want to thank you guys so much. We put the important links at the very end of this slide show, and I'll stop there. I see a lot of chat box things. So I think at this point, this can be a conversation with me and Samuel, anyone else who's available. Samuel, would you be interested in helping me transition into, I see we're 2 minutes over, so sorry about that. But we can stay on for a few more questions and answers that people might have. Samuel, did you see anything that we should start with?
Yes, absolutely, Amanda. And thanks for taking us through that. Yeah, so quite a number of questions on the chat. Some you have directly answered around video creation, around website. And I want to believe we have talked so much around those topics. So I would kindly request that the team check on the Restore Forward around that. So there are other good questions, but maybe Amanda, before we get there, because I've seen you on top of the hour, allow me to introduce our newest team member to this team. I want to believe at some point, this guy will actually interact with you, either during this cohort or even in future when we are actually engaging the alumni. I'm wondering, Victor, are you here? Maybe you can come. You can put your video on. I would wish to introduce you at this moment. So Victor is our new land accelerator coordinator. So he'll be working closely with me here in Africa, supporting different cohorts around different topics, be it setting up the meetings, be it on the innovation grant, be it on the survey. So this is a person who will work closely with the cohort now and also in the future. Victor, are you here? Feel free to introduce yourself. I had seen him around. Victor, are you around?
Yeah, Victor is around.
Victor.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Not Peter.
Well, Victor, just be sure to unmute yourself by the end of the program, and we will have you introduce yourself, because maybe Victor doesn't realize he's muted. But
Okay.
we'll definitely be looking to introduce you again later, so that will be fine. Let's see then. I did see there was
Amanda,
a few
there
questions.
was a question. Yes, there's one question around Restore Forward, whether they will continue to be part of this Restore
Yeah.
Forward?
I saw that question from Chloe. Yes. So we are investing in Restore Forward as a platform for many years. So you'll be able to access everything from the 2023, from the 2023 Land Accelerator recordings forever. We also, well, forever, as long as our program's alive, which we hope is forever. But we're seeing that it's going to be funded for the next 3 years. So we expect it to be around for a long time, and we've already been around for 5 years. So you'll be able to keep signing into Restore Forward. We have the Restore Forward peer groups. So that second group that we also have linked you guys to has recordings from 2022, as you've seen. So you'll be able to keep attending peer sessions that we have next year as well. And we're continually trying to think and implement, and as we're hiring a few more staff members, we'll be able to have more capacity to engage alumni in the future. And engagement could be special invitations to special learning webinars. It can be online networking sessions, online pitching sessions, letting alumni know of different opportunities. So we do invite you to stay with us. Yep, we'll be able to do that. And I saw another couple of questions about, can you hire a professional to help you? You can, but we don't, if you have money and that's how you want to invest it, you can always hire professionals as a business decision to help you with anything you want. So if you want to hire professionals right now to help you with a website, to help you with a video, that's your business choice. But it is possible to do it by yourself as well. I see Victor with his hand up. I believe Victor's here now and able to turn on his mic. Victor, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much. That is a good news for us. Thank you.
Yes. Victor, would you like to introduce yourself? I see your hand up. No? We keep missing Victor. Victor, you're on mute. So if you're talking, just unmute yourself.
Sorry.
Yay.
Hi, Amanda.
Hey.
I am very sorry. I've been having some network issues. However, my name is Victor Mudumbi, recent hire for WRI. I'm coming in as a Land Accelerator Coordinator, and I'm very happy to have joined this team and to have to see the enterprises grow and have a kind of impact that WRI is looking at in terms of land restoration. Otherwise, so happy to be part of this team. I'm actually very happy that I know some of the enterprises in this cohort, and I have interacted with them before, and looking forward to the journey. I wish you all the best as you apply for the phase 2, and looking forward to continue interacting with you. Otherwise, thank you so much.
And we're so excited that Victor joined at such a good time. He's going to get to learn about all of your businesses, which is going to be, really valuable for all of us, that he can know about it and start to provide support as well. So thank you to Samuel, who is working so hard to find and confirm Victor. We're really, really happy to have him on our team. Let me see.
I see a very quick question where
Yes.
Victor comes from. Victor, which country? I've seen that.
Victor is a young man from Kenya.
Thank you. Welcome, Victor. Amanda, there was one question around whether 2021 cohort can actually apply.
Yes.
And I believe it's important because not everyone is going to make it top 15. Maybe we may want to comment on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so we did open the application as well to our alumni, and we will also extend that courtesy to you as well in future years. So for instance, last year, we did invite previous year top 100 to apply, which would have been 2021. And we had 2 people of the 15 coming from that. Why we think it's important is because the Land Accelerator is a continental-wide program all around Africa. And as an African, focused initiative right now, the Land Accelerator Africa, we want to help folks who are ready to step forward. And maybe they weren't ready in 2021 or in 2022, but they've been able to grow their business. So we do think the same from you. However, we want to emphasize that we expect most of the 15 people to come from this year's session, from this year's Land Accelerator. So maybe we'll have 1, 2, 3, perhaps 4, I can't say, but we do expect most of the companies to come from 2023, but we do extend that as a way for our alumni who've been able to find their business model, who've been able to get those, make that life-changing, growth point to be able to, again, access the network when they're ready for it. So yes, it has been open to 2021 and 2022. We just sent the links and the knowledge to them in the morning time this morning in Africa. So they have until the 23rd to apply as well. Well, we're not sure how many people are going to apply. We will see.
Good. Then most of the questions then were actually covered. I see we passed top
Past
of the hour.
time. Mhm.
Yeah, so perhaps would be a good opportunity to close today's session with only one left session to go for phase 1. So
yeah, maybe
it's
we
exciting
can,
how
maybe
time
we can
flies.
preview it. Maybe we can preview it. So some people today were talking about how to prove some of their KPIs. So I think we're doing this session a little bit around monitoring and evaluation and using some tools. So we're having another guest speaker from our WRI staff, Darby, come and teach us a little bit about that. We'll also have some presentations from a few folks from our community, correct, Samuel? And then we might close with some networking sessions, so a chance to get to speak amongst all of ourselves.
Yeah, to be a wonderful closing ceremony. So you don't want to miss, please join us then as we close phase 1 in a style.
And this Thursday, we're going to have the opportunity for pitches again. So I think last Thursday we did 2 or 3 pitches, so we can do 2 or 3 more. I do have a list going on, but if you want to WhatsApp me, I'll put it in the WhatsApp. If you want to send me a quick message, I'll be sure to put you on the list. And the purpose is that you can get some feedback on your slide deck ahead of submitting it, and people can learn about your companies, and people can see examples of what other people in the community are starting to do with regards to pitching and slide deck creation. And then we'll do networking again like we did last time. So it's all about your optional opportunity to get to know more people in this program. So that will be Thursday, again, optional. We invite you to come with us. And then we're going to keep up the Thursday sessions even through the month of July, even though the 11th is our official end. We want to invite additional people to talk to us about some of their business models. So we do invite you to join us. I think on Thursday, we can tell you a little bit more about the kinds of businesses we'll have because we're a little bit over now. But we invite you to stay with us on Thursday, just as an opportunity to continue to learn more. And that's pretty much it. Samuel, I think that's all from me.
Yeah, I believe it's a good time to close. Thank you so much for your patience.
Yes, thank you.
Apologies that we have gone over time.
Yes.
But I believe this was important. Otherwise, thank you and see you on Thursday or on Tuesday. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.